Hello, this is Dr. Rahman, and in this today lab practice we will be going to explain how the create statement could be used to create the database and tables and apply different data types to them and different constraint, particularly the integrity, referential integrity constraint with the update cascade and update delete option. We will be creating this database which having two tables, customer and orders, and the statement which is used for creating the database is create database or create schema, then followed by the name of the database. So both can work similar. Then we will be creating these two tables, create table customer, then all of the columns of the customer, their data types, and these are the table level constraints. So constraints can be applied at the column level or at the table level. So in this second table, create table order, all these constraints has been written at the bottom of the table, at the end of the table creation after the attributes, so they are called table level constraint. And when you are writing then them in front of the attribute or column, they are called attribute or column level constraint. So we will be applying these. We have already explained them in our previous tutorial. You can watch that. The most important out of these constraint is integrity constraint, mean the primary key, and the referential integrity, the foreign key. But foreign key has three behavior. After the foreign key, when you apply, either you use on delete cascade or update cascade, or you write nothing, default one. So we will be explaining these and their effect on the child table. When we are using these construct, then any update in the master table could be reflected in the child table, and if you don't use these delete cascade or update cascade, then any change in the master table will not be affected on the child table and will be restricted. And the other basic constraints are that all the values are required, that is not null. Unique mean no two values could be duplicate. Default mean if you want to provide any value is a default value, and check is the constraint which checks certain condition within a list n. So let's demonstrate them. For this I will start my MySQL and let me load MySQL, and first step is to create the database. To save the time, I have already created the scripts for all these. I will just copy paste one by one and explain it here. So the first statement is create the database, and this is the name of my database. And when I will execute this statement, it will create my database, and when I will refresh it, you can see that this database is created with empty objects. No objects are here. This is just a container within the memory. And now to make it active, I will execute use construct, and now this database is active, and whatever I will do now will be taking place within this database. So let me create the first table, the customer table, and I'm copying this script from here and using it here. So create table customer, and all these are the columns name, and each column has its data type varchar char, and this is the primary key constraint. This is called integrity constraint. Not null means that we cannot keep these two columns as empty, and default mean that if we don't provide any value to this gender field, automatically it will be considered as male. And the check constraint tells us that check the area code, and it should be within the list of these values, and other values should not be accepted. And similarly, check constraint for the customer balance, that the customer balance should be less than 20,000. So this is all these constraints that we have applied. They are the attribute level constraint. Let me execute this script to create this table. Now this table has been created, and when I will refresh it and check it here. Yes, the customer table with all these columns that we mentioned here, that has been created. Now let's create the second table, order, and let me copy this code of the script of this code of the script for the creation of the order table, and run execute it here. So this is my TBL order, and order number, customer code, and order date. So this customer code is the primary key in the customer table above, but here it is used as a foreign key. So here I have not applied the primary key in front of order ID over here. Why? Because I'm explaining the table level constraint in this table. So I have used it here. You can see constraint whose name is pk1, that is primary key, and it is applied on this attribute. So this is the primary key and table level constraint, and this customer ID is my foreign key. So constraint name foreign key 1, which is foreign key this one, and references to the main table which are already created customer. And here if you see, I have added on update cascade, on delete cascade. This option shows that if you do any update in this attribute in the master table, then that will automatically be affected in the child table. If you update the value here, it will be updated automatically, and if you delete from the main table customer, it will be deleted. All the relevant record from this TBL order will be deleted. And if I don't use it here, then this is the third behavior that we explain in the slides. Then if you do any change in the main table, in the cust ID, in the cust code, that will not be affected over here, and will not that change could not be done. Mean you cannot update that value, you cannot delete that value, because that will result the orphan record to be created here, and this is not the database will not be consistent, the DBMS will not allow you. So this is how cascade update cascade and delete cascade works, and we will be demonstrating them with the values. Now execute this code, and there is some error message. Check order constraint allowable. There is some in this date value. So let's explore them. So here I checked it with the current underscore date is not supported in this MySQL, and I checked with the current date function, but it is also not supported. So let's make it complement and ignore this one, and proceed with the creation of the table. Yes, the second table is also created. Now both the table has been created, and now we are going to check the effect of the update cascade and delete cascade. But for that, first we need to enter data into both of these tables. So let's me insert data to the customer table, and then to the table underscore order, and I have prepared some sample data. So let's insert that, copy that using, and insert it. So for the customer table, I am going to insert two record here, and let me execute it. Yes, two rows has been added to this customer table, and it has customer 1, customer 2, and for the gender, in the first case I applied the default value. I said that consider the default value, and for the second Sarah Ahmed, I used the female F supplied here. Now let's add data to the second order table as well, and then see the effect of the cascade update and delete. So I'm going to insert 4 records to this table, order table, mean that 4 order has been received, and let me execute them. Yes, 5 rows has been, 5 records has been added, mean 5 record order number 1 to order number 5, and all these order comes from customer number 1, 2 order from customer number 1, and 3 order from customer number 2, and this is the date. Now we are going to see the effect of the update on the main. Here we want to update this customer ID from C1 to, for example, C10, and then we will be seeing that whether that C1 and C1 has been automatically changed, updated to this C10 or not. That will be the effect of the cascade, update cascade. And then we will be trying to delete the second order, this one, customer C2, and we'll see that it automatically deletes these 3 records from the child table or not. So for that we are going to use the script now. So let's see that how we could apply cascade update. Let me test update cascade on the customer. I am going to update customer and setting the value of cus ID to C100 where its value is C1. But before, let's see, just select the value, select asterisk from customer to see its values, and then we will be applying then we will apply it, the update. So you can see that C1 and C2 are here, and I am going to update the C1 value to C100 in this updates script. Update customer mean update the value of C1 to C100. I'm going to execute it, and at the same time I will see that this effect will take place in the order table. But also let's also see the order table. Select asterisk from TBL order to see the values inside that. Yes, we can see that C1 is repeating 2 times and C2 is repeated 3 times. So when I will change C1 to C100 in the master table customer, it will be affected over here automatically. This is the advantage of update cascade. So let me update the the customer ID, cus ID. Yes, this value 1 row is affected, so let's see it again. Execute this query customer and see whether that has been updated or not. Yes, C1 has been updated to C100, and now let's see the table, retrieve all the records from the table whether that has been updated or not. So yes, you can see C1 is updated to C100. And similarly, if we, how this happened, this is because of this option that when we were creating this TBL order, we have used this option on update cascade. If we don't use this, we cannot update it. Change in the parent will not be affected in the child, and parent will also be protected. And now we are going to check on update cascade. So for that I am going to delete cascade. For that I am going to delete C2 from the customer table, and we'll see that all these C2 will be deleted from here as well. So let's copy the script that I have already created and use that here. I'm going to delete from the customer which customer whose customer code is C2. Let me execute it. Yes, one row is affected, and now let me go and check this customer, that whether that has been C2 has been deleted or not. Yes, you can see that C2 is not appearing here. And now let's execute the table order where those relevant record has been deleted from there or not. Yes, all has been deleted from there. So this is how Cascade update and delete works, and this is their practical implementation and scenario. See you in the future tutorial for different constructs in MySQL. Thank you.